Let's talk for a bit about getting back on track after a bad, after a meal, day, week, or month, or cheat, or binge, or whatever you want to call it, that doesn't align with our health and fitness goals. Let's talk about what do we do, how do we come back and get back into our routine of healthy habits, habits that move us towards our goals. Let's talk about how do we shift back into that mode after any length of time in which we've been living in a way that hasn't been moving us towards our goals. Whether we've taken some time off from the gym or we've just said fuck it about what we're eating, how do we steer the ship back in the right direction? Now, if we've already been doing the things that work for us, because different things are going to work for different people. I mean, there's some general guidelines that'll get everybody pretty much started, but anyhow, I'm getting off track here. Let's say if you know what you need to do, and you've done those things before, and you've seen yourself make progress, and then something happens, be it a vacation or a trip or an event or something, and you end up not doing those things. How do we get back into the mode of doing those things? For some of us, that switch, that transition is very easy. We just do it. For others of us, it's hard. It's difficult to get back into a position where we are taking those steps. One of the main differences that I've seen between those who are quite able to get back on track after a deviation from their healthy habits and those who aren't. One of the main differences that I've seen is an acceptance of responsibility. And I don't mean that in like a moral way. I mean that more in a sense of accepting of the ability to control. Knowing that it's acknowledging that, hey, I know what I need to do, and I know that I can do it. I just need to do those things. And this acceptance of responsibility and acceptance of control and knowing what to do is critical in terms of getting back on track. For example, let's say if you've been making really good progress over the past several months, and then you have a week or so where you go on vacation and you let yourself go. One critical step is at the end of that vacation or whatever, or if you've been going through a tough time and you've been dealing with it with unhealthy habits, the first step is acknowledging that what you've been doing isn't what you know you need to do, and then saying, okay, I haven't been living in a way that moves me closer to my goals, but I know what I need to do. I know that I need to do X, Y, and Z. I know that I can do it because I've done it before. It's just a matter of taking those steps again. Now, the second part of that equation is dealing with the idea of stopping the easy stuff, which is, pleasing the taste buds and skipping the gym or skipping whatever physical activity it is that you engage in. The next step is overcoming the resistance from shifting away from that easy stuff and back towards the more difficult discipline stuff. And there's a whole lot more that goes into that. There's a whole lot of mindset and a whole lot of there's a whole lot of other issues that come into play in terms of how we approach that kind of behavior change. For some of us that's easier, for some of us it's harder. But and we can get to that in other videos. But ultimately, the most critical part is knowing that you you do have control. Taking that responsibility, saying, okay, I'm responsible for what's happened, but I'm also responsible for what happens moving forward from here. That's the key critical step, is just accepting that it all comes down to your actions, and you're the one who's in control. Even if you've let yourself go, this isn't the end. This isn't some sort of final state of being. You can always shift your actions back to those actions that work for you. Again, we'll have to discuss some more of the mental issues that go into how easy it is to actually start taking those actions. But the first part is to recognize that you do know what to do, and that you do know that you can do it. Now, that's not going to apply to somebody who's just getting started. But for most of us who have seen success in the past and have just not done something for a short amount of time, for most of us, accepting responsibility and understanding that you can do it. And I'm not saying that to be some sort of rah-rah cheerleader. I'm just being honest. You can do it. If you've done it before, you can do it again. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. But you can do it again. That's the first step. Responsibility and just getting back to doing what you know you need to do. That's the key to success, you know? You got yourself fit. You got yourself unfit. Just got to get yourself fit again. Hope that helps. There will be future videos now that I've brought up some of those things that we mentioned and didn't delve into. Stay tuned.